I want to talk about the Oregon Ducks with their spring game this weekend. Football coach Dan Lanning dreamed of coaching in the NFL. Does Ducks fan need to worry about losing him eventually? Locked on Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hit that free subscribe button down below while you're watching, and you won't miss a single episode. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet if it wins. And we're going to talk about Dan Lanning's future. We're going to talk about this spring game this weekend. More Big Ten news, transfer portal news, Nico's brother joining him at UCLA. There's part 2 to that story, by the way. Plus, we're going to power rank all the new quarterbacks in the Big Ten. All right. Now, before we talk about Dan Lanning dreaming of coaching in the NFL, been out for a couple of days. You could tell I had laryngitis. The voice is kind of 80% back today. So if I cough or clear my throat, I apologize. But I wanted to be here today going into this weekend and talk to you guys about this. You everydayers, thank you very much for checking in. So Dan Lanning, will he ever coach in the NFL? Because he really used to want to. And while I was out for a couple of days, I read an interesting article from SportsIllustrated.com about how he viewed that and how things have changed. Got some good news for you Ducks fans on that. You know, he's coming off an undefeated championship season, Big Ten championship, and he is quickly padding his resume. And, all any NFL team would have to do is put out the bat signal they want, or that he would have to do, put out the bat signal, I want to go to the NFL, and he would have every team knocking on his door. He's that good of a coach. Whether it be the NFL or college, everybody wants this guy. But Lanning, and again, he says this all the time, so he's very consistent about it. He's very happy in Eugene, very happy. So happy that he didn't even flinch in that whole high-profile Alabama job when it opened up when Nick Saban retired. Back in 2022, there were rumors about the Auburn job, just rumors. Again, Lanning can have his pick of any job, NFL or college football. It all applies. Back when Alabama did open up, he said, why would I leave? Why would I leave? Because a lot of people looked to him. I think he would have been their first choice. He says his family is happy in Eugene, makes a lot of money. He has facilities. He has a great name, image, and likeness program, money to spend. And right now he's got Oregon rolling with, on the field, recruiting, transfer portal. It's all good. So how about that NFL itch? Well, a lot of guys ultimately want to challenge themselves and test themselves at that highest NFL level. And, I think Lanning used to. That used to be the end goal, the high goal. Didn't have that itch anymore. He told SI.com in this article I was reading, he says, look, I used to want to coach in the NFL. I used to dream of coaching in the NFL. But I like what he said. He said that you just kind of figure out your place in life. I think this could apply to all of us. Where you are supposed to be, what you are supposed to do, who you are supposed to be with. And he feels like he really connects with this age group that he's with right now. So he loves working with college kids. So instead of what's next, he says, thank you, and focuses on the now. And he says, I get to do this here at Oregon. He's very appreciative of the opportunity that Oregon gave him. And he says he's got an 11-year-old that's lived in 8 different states. He's like, look, man, the grass isn't always greener. It's pretty green in Eugene. So for a guy that played linebacker at William Jewell College, his professional coaching career has taken him to some big boy colleges like Pitt, Arizona State, and Alabama, and Georgia, and Oregon. That's about as big as it gets in college football, and it seems to suit him just fine. Sometimes dreams of making it into the NFL, they'll fade out after a while. When you're one of the best in college football and you're making over $10 million a year, that's pretty good too. So, speaking of the Oregon Ducks, let's dive into them just a little bit here. How's spring going so far? We're winding it down with the spring game. And I'll talk about the quarterbacks for just a minute. It's been a nice line of quarterbacks at Oregon with Bo Nix and Dillon Gabriel. And, of course, now presumably UCLA transfer Daunte Moore, who's been there for over a year. And I like the fact that Moore has experience coming in because he actually played quite a bit his freshman year at UCLA under Chip Kelly. Then he came to Oregon and then sat out a year and just kind of learned, just kind of morphed, absorbed everything under Dillon Gabriel. I think it's a pretty good situation there at quarterback. And in Lanning interviews, he talks about Moore. Here's the one red flag. He says he needs to love the game in order to be great. I took that as a little bit of a red flag. I don't know Daunte Moore, but is he as motivated as he could be or should be to get to that upper level? Is football not his entire world right now? For Lanning to say that, it kind of perked my antenna up a little bit on that. So, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe. So, love your thoughts on it, Oregon fan. I know you're excited and ready to go for the spring game here this weekend. And, of course, the regular season right around the corner. Now, if he doesn't reach that level, or if he ends up bouncing back and forth with two quarterbacks, got redshirt sophomore Austin Novosad, big 6'3" guy, completed 11 of 13 passes, not a lot of experience, but he was a 4-star out of high school in Texas, pro-style pocket passer. In 3 years in high school, threw for 9,000 yards and 114 touchdowns and 18 interceptions. He had a 6-touchdown game. He had 6 5-touchdown games. He had 4 4-touchdown games, 4 3-touchdown games. And this is 6A Texas football. This is big boy high school football. So I think he's very able. I think it's an exciting situation at Oregon at quarterback, no matter what happens. And Daunte Moore, a very athletic guy too. So I'm very curious to see, and I'm going to look forward to watching this over the weekend. Also, Austin was recruited by Baylor and Colorado and Houston and Kansas and Notre Dame and A&M. So there are a lot of people that wanted him before he ended up going to Oregon. So we're going to look at both quarterbacks here on Saturday. Oregon spring game is 4:00 Eastern, 1:00 Pacific for those of you on the West Coast that'll be watching. And it will be live on the Big Ten Network, unlike Michigan last week. So that's all good. And the team says they're looking forward to having fans in the stands while they go out and play. And then the countdown begins. And August 30th, host to Montana State. Big Ten play starts September 13th against Northwestern. They got the big rivalry game against Oregon State September 20th. That's at Austin this year. And Big Ten championship rematch between Penn State and Oregon. September 27th, that's at Penn State. That's the big boy one on the schedule to circle up. So anyway, those are some of my thoughts. Would love to hear from you, Oregon fan. I know you're very enthusiastic and excited. You guys are always great on this podcast as well. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, so you'll never miss an episode. And don't forget, you early morning commuters, we got there on Apple and Spotify. We're out 2 hours earlier every single morning. And don't forget, we got Big Ten gear. You want some Oregon Ducks hats, T-shirts, shirts, pennants? We all have them on our website, talkbig10.com. It's where we put all of our podcasts. We'll put this one here. We do them chronologically. We also group them by school. This will be under Oregon as well. But you can also pick up some Big Ten gear if you want it there from your favorite school as well at talkbig10.com. All right, we're moving along. We're holding out. I think we're going to make it. I think we're going to make it with our voice and the coughing, maybe. What I still want to talk about is while we were out sick a couple days ago, Nico Iamaleava, of course, going to UCLA. We were all over that. But while we were gone, it was announced that his brother is going there as well. He also plays quarterback. And it's the second time he's committed to UCLA. So these kids, man, they just move in and out. But there may be some problems moving forward. I want to get to all that. Plus, we'll have our Big Ten quarterback power ranks. We've got all these new quarterbacks in the Big Ten. I want to go ahead and rank those. Those are all coming up in just a few minutes. So check that out. We'll have that in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. Did you know that your Fire TV is also on Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. With 4K streaming, watch more than 1.5 million movies, TV episodes, all from your favorite subscribe services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. All right there. Fire TV, it just provides a wealth of entertainment choices for you. So head on over to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On and get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max first and second generation, and Fire TV Cube third generation. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build, in practicing every detail to get the best results that you need. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can get it done alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. At Epicor, the All-Stars are the hardworking manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices. Epicor ERP solutions are created by industry experts to help make every day easier. Seeing your whole supply chain is easier. Managing logistics is easier. Responding to price changes is easier. From small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global vision, we'll equip you with the right tools to move forward, think ahead, and lead the way. Because as the clock ticks down, you need to make the most of every hard-working minute in your day. Easier doesn't cut corners. Easier takes the lead. Discover your success at www.easierwithepicor.com. That's www.easierwithepicor.com. All right. Thank you for checking us out here today and making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day, especially every day is out there. Meanwhile, be sure to hit that free subscribe button down below. Share, follow, like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. Check out our website, talkbig10.com as well. All right. So while I was out sick, the other EMLE is going to UCLA. Nico, of course, announced on Sunday that he's leaving Tennessee, and he was going to go join the UCLA Bruins. And the younger brother, Madden, leaving Arkansas. He's going to Westwood as well. Now, this is not the first time that Madden has verbally committed to UCLA. He committed to Deshaun Foster for like 8 months, part of his first recruiting class, the class of 25. And then at the last minute, on signing day, he flipped to Arkansas. And the young man, a 6'3" pocket passer. Madden also did not play his senior year in high school. He was declared ineligible because he transferred. He left schools. This kid moves around a lot. From California's Warren High School to Long Beach Polytech. And this sets up a unique situation, by the way. We now have 2 schools in the Big Ten that have brothers competing against each other. Cal transfer Fernando Mendoza and his younger brother Alberto Mendoza was already on the team. and he's currently listed at third on the depth chart. But back to Imaleva and the brothers there at UCLA, because we're going to talk about this more on Monday's podcast. We may have some problems. We may, in this new day and age of college football and the new situations that we have, they also end up having new legal situations. Tennessee and Arkansas may sue these kids for breach of contract. And this has already happened at Wisconsin once. A kid wanted to leave Wisconsin and go to Miami, but they said, hey, we got a revenue share, not even a name, image, and likeness. We got a revenue share deal, a 2-year deal with you. But we talked about this. A lot of you enjoyed that podcast. It was several months ago. We have to revisit that on Monday as well. So this is going to be the new thing. These kids are going to get sued, it looks like, moving forward. And where does that leave us? So we'll talk about that as well. Now, the USC Trojans, they've been dominating the recruiting trail and doing a pretty good job in this year's transfer portal as well. So Lincoln Riley already landed Notre Dame safety Kennedy Urlacher, and now it looks like they're about to land Penn State linebacker Tamir Robinson as well, who played in 14 games for the Nittany Lions this year. He's the 7th ranked linebacker in the class that's out there in the portal, and they like to add him. That move would check another box. So if they don't get him, there's another possibility. There's another linebacker. There's Boise State linebacker Andrew Simpson, who visited the Trojans as soon as the portal opens. So that might be a direction that they go in as well. And again, look, the Trojans are recruiting high school kids at a high level, doing pretty good, bringing in some kids in the transfer portal. Now, keep in mind, they've lost 25 kids in the transfer portal too. So just a storyline to keep an eye on as they replace the transfer portal kids. High school recruiting is through the roof. Through the roof. They got to keep those kids, see what they can build there. Penn State, they're still looking for a little bit of help for Drew Aller. Drew Aller is the most experienced quarterback in the Big Ten, and he's trying to win a national championship. But he's also trying to catch the eye of the NFL for next year's draft. And some people think he'll be the number 1 quarterback prospect in the 2026 draft. But he decided to return to school for 1 more year, beef up his resume a little bit. Sure, everybody's, every once in a while, people are like, like the Notre Dame game, a couple of throws. They're like, he's got to get rid of that part of his game, get it dialed in if he wants to be the number 1 pick of the draft. Fine. He's got a great opportunity ahead of him, got this whole season ahead of him. He ended the season last year with 3 straight games. We had 13 or fewer pass completions and less than 172 yards to close out the year. And not one single wide receiver caught a pass in their playoff game in that semifinal loss to Notre Dame. So I'm not putting the blame on Drew Aller for that, at least not all of it. And again, we've talked quite a bit on this podcast about the lack of wide receivers and game changers and guys that could take the top off the defense. It's been a blind spot for whatever reason for James Franklin. He has not been able to get that right moving forward. So we'll see if they can. His number 1 weapon, Tyler Warren, is gone, the tight end, drafted. So moving ahead, Penn State looks like right now they're eyeing wide receiver Traber Pena out of Syracuse. This will be his 6th year of college ball that he's allowed to do. He is reportedly looking for $2 million in name, image, and likeness money. Syracuse coach Fran Brown is very outspoken, entertaining guys. I'm not giving any wide receiver $2 million. Forget that. Not doing that. So he's available. But back at Syracuse last year with Kyle McCord, somebody we're very familiar with here in the Big Ten. Kyle McCord was a quarterback. Last year, they connected for 84 passes, 941 yards, and 9 touchdowns. That might be exactly what Drew Aller needs, along with the transfers, Kyron Hudson, who they got, and Devontae Ross. So we'll see. Meanwhile, this was a good week for Iowa football and Iowa basketball. Let me tell you about it. First of all, Kirk Ferentz. He got a commit from a 4-star offensive lineman, Gene Riordan, in the class of 2026. Ferentz was battling some big-name schools for him like Penn State, Auburn, Oklahoma, and Iowa State. He's the 14th ranked player in the state of Illinois. Big guy, 6'4", 275 pounds. Iowa's coming off an 8-5 season, so they'll shore up the line with that. And on to Iowa basketball. Lots of changes going on there. They got a nice player in the transfer portal for Coach Ben McCallum this week. Robert Morris transfer, Alvaro Fogueres. He's a native of Spain, and he's coming. He was the Horizon League Player of the Year. He's 6'9", and he could shoot. 41% from three-land. Robert Morris put up a good fight against the explosive Alabama team, 90-81. They lost in the NCAA tournament. That's something. They went toe-to-toe with a high-scoring Alabama team. This kid was part of that. So McCollum closed this deal, and so that's pretty good. Also, McCollum, as you know, it's taken over for Fran McCaffrey, who departed after 15 years as the Hawkeyes head coach. So good news for Iowa football and Iowa basketball this week as well. Now, there's just a few experienced quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Drew Aller, we just talked about him. A lot of new exciting guys coming in. So this week, we figure we power rank them for you. So we'll take care of all that coming up in 1 minute on Locked On Big Ten. FanDuel, NBA playoffs. They go together so well. The NBA playoffs are here. New customers get in on the action right now. Join FanDuel. You place your first $5 bet, you get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. So it makes it very easy. Betting is very simple. You can pick your favorite team. You can do player props. That's always fun. Stats, three-pointers, assists. FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Well, I tell you what, there have been some interesting games in the NBA playoffs so far. I mean, we had a game where somebody won by 51 points. That's the difference between a 1 seed and 8 seed. Had others go down to the wire. It's pretty exciting. Plus, if you miss tip-off, you can join in the action in-game live betting. Live prop bets, all there, right there. Put them on your same game parlay for a chance to win really big. So don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. That's with FanDuel. FanDuel.com. All right. Thanks for hanging with us. The throat's hanging together here. I think we're going to make it. We're going to make it to the finish line here. I want to take a look at our spring Big Ten quarterback power rankings. I'm going to put this on the screen, and we can take a look at this here together. I'll look the first one because there's a lot of new quarterbacks here in the Big Ten. Drew Aller is not one of the new ones. This is a no-brainer. We're going to rank him number 1 at Penn State. His final year should be the top draft pick in the NFL next year. And this guy does not turn the ball over. In fact, so much so, if I have a criticism of him, it would be that I would think he needs to be more aggressive. Take more chances downfield. Again, having a new receiver core will help with that this year, and with offensive coordinator Andy Kotelnicki. So, yeah, we got Drew Aller at the top. I thought that was a no-brainer. Another returning quarterback, Luke Altmaier. Illinois, they went 10-3 last year. He's coming back. Had that bowl win over South Carolina. I know the running back left in the transfer portal, but Brett Bielema's got a good chance here to just put a stamp on his program and come back with another strong year. I'm putting Dylan Raiola at Nebraska at number 3. 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. It was his rookie year. Got him to a bowl game. You know, the first 5 weeks of the season, he had 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And then things kind of got tough a little bit for the Huskers. But I like him. I'm particularly excited to see him in his second year. Here's another one that I've moved up my list. Damon Williams Jr. at Washington. I really liked this kid last year. They had a 2-quarterback system last year at Washington. And as the year went on, I didn't like it. And I said so on this podcast. And the last couple of games, he started. So he's talented. He's athletic. He's going to be the guy this year at Washington. He played 13 games last year. So like I said, a lot of experience. 9 yards per attempt and he can rush for a couple touchdowns as well. So in the last 2 games that he started, he threw 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. This is the guy. I'm very excited about that. At Indiana, I got Fernando Mendoza. A lot of hype coming over from California in the transfer portal. He's not, played 1 snap for the Hoosiers, who are trying to bounce back and have another 11-win season. Threw for 3,000 yards at Cal last year, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, rushed for a couple. He will have big shoes to fill, taking over for Curtis Rourke, who had a great year for the Hoosiers last year. All right, I got Daunte Moore, who we started the program talking about, at Oregon at number 6. Again, the thing I like about him is 2 seasons ago, he started games at UCLA and then came into Oregon and sat and watched. I think sitting and watching as a young quarterback can be beneficial, but if you can sit and watch, but you've got experience to draw from, I think that's big. So I got him at number 6. I'm going to go put the guy that we've talked about more in the last 2 weeks than anybody else, Nico Iamaleava at UCLA, coming from Tennessee. He's got playoff experience, got him to the playoffs. 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 3 rushing touchdowns. Will there be too much drama around him based on what maybe early on, maybe the LA media? But once I think if UCLA settles in, I think that all quiets down and he'll just play some football. At number 8, Julian saying, hey, maybe this is too high. I don't know for the Ohio State Buckeyes. The reason I got him high, of course, he was a 5-star and he hasn't taken a single snap yet. But, he got to sit behind Will Howard for a year and watch. And look, he's at Ohio State. He's going to have every opportunity to be successful, as many quarterbacks that have come before him have. He's going to have tools, he's going to have weapons. He's got Jeremiah Smith. He's got good coaching. He'll have every opportunity to succeed. So I got him at number 8. Number 9, I got Michigan State's Aiden Childs. Aiden Childs caught my eye last year. 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 3 rushing touchdowns. A lot of ups and downs. A lot. Like, he'll throw touchdowns, he'll run all over the place, and he'll throw interceptions. Started to tap that down in the second half of the year. I'm really excited to see how Aiden Childs does this year. And then rounding out our top 10, Ethan Kaliak-Manis, one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the Big Ten, coming back year number 2 at Rutgers. He was the starter for PJ Fleck in Minnesota before that. Threw for 2,700 yards. That's a lot of passing yards at Rutgers. 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, rushed for 3 more. So there's our top 10. Let's take a look at the best of the rest as we're ranking our quarterbacks, all the new quarterbacks this year in the Big Ten. At number 11, USC's Jaden Maeva. Remember, he came in late last year for Miller Moss. It just wasn't working out at USC. He did play in 7 games, 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a rushing touchdown as well. They went 7-6 last year, but Maeva, in games that he played, they went 3-1. Don't forget, there's Houston Longstreet there as well, playing at quarterback. At number 12, let's go with Wisconsin's Billy Edwards. This Billy Edwards Jr. transferred from Maryland, remember? And when he was at Maryland, he put up a lot of stats. The quarterbacks put up big numbers at Maryland. So I've told you time and time again, quarterback is the position Luke Fickell has not gotten right yet. Billy Edwards will put up some stats. Threw for 2,900 yards and 15 touchdowns last year. Also rushed for 5 touchdowns. Of course, the Badgers just lost an offensive lineman a couple of weeks ago to an injury, so we'll see. At 13, I got Michigan's Bryce Underwood. How quickly does he move up this ranking? Well, I'm sure this won't be the last quarterback ranking we do on this podcast. He was the number 1 recruit in the country. See how quick he moves up. Mikey Keene at Fresno State really didn't practice. They brought in the veteran to kind of help ease Bryce Underwood in, but Mikey Keene he's just now throwing the football. He's been injured. It was all Bryce Underwood this spring. Also, 14, Iowa, Mike Gronowski. He's transferring in to go play for Kirk Ferentz from South Dakota State. Threw for 2,700 yards and 23 touchdowns last year. Also rushed for 10 touchdowns. Look, I I was interested in how Max Brosmer did coming from New Hampshire, going to Minnesota last year. It turns out he did pretty well. Same situation here, South Dakota State. Gradowski, how will he do? He'll have every opportunity to succeed at Iowa. We'll see. At number 15, Northwestern quarterback Preston Stone coming in from SMU. 5 touchdowns, 1 interception in 2023, threw for over 3,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He was on fire, but this past year he got benched for Kevin Jennings. So there's some talent here. We'll see what happens at Northwestern, who typically does not have an explosive offense. At 16, Justin Martin, we'll put him in there. He came from UCLA, right? And he's going to battle with Malik Washington and fill that space that Billy Edwards left behind when he went to Wisconsin. Minnesota's Drake Lindsay. He's going to replace Max Brosmer from New Hampshire. We'll see how he does. And then I got Purdue's Malachi Singleton. Just 1 touchdown at Arkansas, but he did have 12.8 yards per attempt. That stood out to me because that's pretty good. 3 rushing touchdowns. But also keep an eye on Ryan Brown, who left Purdue to go to North Carolina, played spring ball there, and then with Bill Belichick decided to come back to Purdue. I think ultimately Ryan Brown may be the starting quarterback. But nevertheless, they're at Purdue. That's how we rank them. That's how we do it. What do you think? Do we get the order right? I don't think we're too far off. So let me know what you think. In the meantime, thank you. We made it. The laryngitis was held off. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be back. Many ways for you to interact with us over the weekend. You Oregon fans, hit me up. Let me know what you think while you're watching the spring game. You can hit us up on Twitter at Talk Big Ten and our website, talkbig10.com. Be sure to subscribe for free so you never miss an episode. And go back and check out a second listen of Locked On Big Ten from ones earlier in the week before we disappeared with laryngitis. So check all that out. Can't wait to talk to you on Monday. Have yourself a great weekend. For Locked On Big Ten, I'm Craig Sheeman. We'll talk to you next time.